Hey YouTube, welcome back. This is the beginning of the TryHackMe series. During this series, I will be going through TryHackMe rooms, trying to sharpen some skills, and hope you can learn something as well if you're beginning down this path. So earlier, we created our VM in VMware, the Kali Linux box, and I'm in it right now. And I went ahead and opened up the web browser and browsed to TryHackMe. Here we can create a free account and join. I have already signed into my account. So once you go ahead and create your account, go ahead and click on Learn on the top, and we can have search. And here we can kind of search for rooms. So the room today we will be doing is RootMe, which is a CTF for beginners. Can you root me? And this includes web, Linux, privileged escalation, and it's categorized as easy. So in order to utilize the resources, we need to join the room. So we'll go ahead and do that. And once we're joined, we now need to connect our machine to the network. So TryHackMe has two methods. If you click on Access Machines at the top here, we can have an attack box, which is going to open up a Kali Linux in our web browser. And if we do not have premium, that will be only available to us for 1 hour a day. Or we can use an open VPN and use our box and connect to their network. So we'll go ahead and do the open VPN method. And right here has the steps, so go ahead and click download. I have already downloaded this file, and it tells us the command to run. So we'll go over here. I have already downloaded it. This is my open VPN connection, so we'll go ahead and sudo openvpn tryhackme.ovpn, and we will go ahead and run that. And what this is doing is setting up a ton0 interface on our machine to talk to the internal network of TryHackMe in this lab. So on a new window, we can run ifconfig ton0, and we can see that we have been assigned an IP address and we are connected. We will leave this window up the whole time. And just if you are running it as a user, you do need to run it as sudo. So we will go ahead and we'll go ahead. The first task is to deploy the machine. So we will start the machine, and this will take about a minute, but to get the IP. But in the meantime, we can go ahead and say completed since there's no answers needed. And we can start looking what we're about to get ourselves into. Okay, so first we're going to be scanning the machine to see how many ports are open, get the version of Apache, determining what service is running, using a tool to brute force the web directories that the server is hosting, finding the hidden directory, uploading a shell, finding a flag, and performing a privilege escalation. All right. So we will be using Nmap to conduct our scans. So we now have this IP, so we can go ahead and copy that, and we can just see if we're connected to the network, to the box, conduct a ping. Getting nothing back, may not be responding to pings, but we can go ahead and use Nmap. So one of the main, Nmap is the main scanning tool on Kali Linux, and we can go ahead and run man Nmap, and man will give us the man help page. So here you can go through and look up the certain options to figure out the types of scans. So they give us an example, attack A, attack T4, and the website, and it'll return back whatever ports are opened. So I'll just go ahead and run that against this IP. And hitting spacebar will give us a status update. As we can see, we're 60% done. I'm going ahead and pause the video and wait for this to finish. Okay, it returned back that all the ports were closed, but I believe the box was not actually all the way up, as I can run a ping now, and now it is up and running. So I will rerun that scan, and I will go ahead and pause and return when it has finished. Alright, our scan has came back with the TAC A option, and this does the top 1000 ports, so if we wanted to do more ports we would have to change our options. But here we can see we have 2 ports open. Port 22, which is SSH, and we get the OS, some OS information, and we get port 80, which is a Apache HTTPD 2.4.29. That actually, we can go ahead and start answering some questions. So 2 ports are open. Version of Apache is 2.4.29. And SSH is running on port 22. And now we need to check out the web page. So first we can just browse to the web page on port 80. And we just get a RootMe, can you root me? So we can just check out the page source, see what is going on with this page. Yeah, just call it a JavaScript file. Okay, so what we need to do is find if there are any other directories, because currently we are just browsing the main page that this web server is hosting. So I'm going to go ahead and use dirbuster. Okay, now that dirbuster is loaded, we can go ahead and start filling out the option fields to configure our scan. So went ahead and copy and pasted our target IP on port 80, and I'll increase the threads so it's a little faster. Browse. For the word list, these are in the / user share word list dirbuster, and I'm going to select directory list 2.3 medium.txt, and I like to add a /txt file for this and uncheck be recursive, and we will go ahead and hit start. And here we can see we're already getting some results. So uploads. So we can see we have upload file directory. The index.php was the page we were on earlier. In dirbuster, you can get a tree format. So if we can expand down, we can see what else is in those directories. And we will just let that run for a second and see if we get back anything interesting. Alright, we just got a /panel. So let's go check out panel. And here it looks like we can upload files, and based on that uploads directory, we may be able to upload and then view it as well. So I'm going to go ahead and stop this scan and and get started on trying to upload a file. So one of the main things we're trying to upload is potentially a PHP reverse shell, and execute that on the remote end and have it call us back locally on our machine in order to get a low shell. So in order to do that, we can Google monkey reverse shell. And this website has reverse shells in many of the languages. So we have Bash, Perl, Python, PHP, etc. We can also utilize one of the reverse shells on Kali Linux, and that's the option I will be doing. cd documents, TryHackMe. So inside user share web shells, we have the following languages. I'm going to select PHP, and we can go ahead and do the PHP reverse shell into this current working directory. So now if we ls, we have that there. Can go into vim and in order to edit it. And the two things we need to edit are the IP, which is our local IP, and the port, but we can just leave that as is. So again, if config ton 0, earlier we had that, so if we grab this, we can paste that in, right quit this, and now we have our reverse shell. I'll just move the name convention to be shell.php. So now we have shell.php. So we will go ahead and try to upload this. And we will go ahead and select the shell.php. We will attempt to upload, and we get PHP, I assume not permitted. So we can try a couple things. We can try changing the extension. And we can try to re-upload this. And looks like that was a success. So if we go back to the uploads directory, we can go ahead and refresh it, and we can see we have our shell on the web server. So now, in order to catch this, we can go ahead and run netcat, and then set up a listening port, and the port we designated was 1234. And we can go ahead and click this, and cannot execute because it contains errors. So we can try a couple other things. And I'll go ahead and just add 1 hour to our VM, because it does expire after 1 hour. So we did not catch our callback, because so what I'm going to try to do is make it a PHP file. And we can go ahead and utilize burp, which is a web proxy. This listens locally on port 8080. So we also can set up our proxy settings. If we do settings in Firefox, type in proxy. New project, start burp. We can go ahead and manually insert this to be 127.0.0.1 on 80. 8080. And we're just doing this over HTTP, so we can go ahead and click yes. And now all web traffic we send will hit our proxy. So if we go hit proxy, it is off. We can turn it on. And now I can go to panel. And we can see the web request get sent here. And we can go ahead and forward this. And now we can upload our shell, hit upload, and we can take a look at how it actually is getting uploaded. So the content type is XPHP, file name is this. So I'm wondering if we change some of the options. We just get this to be shell. If we forward that, it looks like it uploaded. So if we go to we can go to uploads and see if it made it. And we have normal shell. So what I'm going to do is turn off the proxy, go back to settings, no proxy, okay, go here, minimize the burp window, and go back to we're still listening, and I will try executing by clicking this, and we just get this. So that also was not the right method. Alright, so that's not reading as PHP, so we can maybe try changing the extension. So we will go to burp. We can look at our history of the files that we uploaded by going to proxy HTTP history. And we can take a look at some of this information. If we just change this to be .jpeg, I'm wondering if that may be a little better. So that browse our shell upload on the intercept, we have it. If we change the extension to be .jpg, and forward that, that was a success. Okay, so if we go to uploads, I need to get out of our proxy. We now have the file up as shell.php.jpg and cannot be displayed because it contains errors. Okay, so we tried a couple different methods. This is the norm, just troubleshooting sometimes. We're just trying to bypass this PHP filter, essentially. We can go ahead and actually answer this one panel. And try getting the reverse shell. So let's look up PHP reverse shell upload bypass filter. And okay, so we can try some renaming. So we can do some PHP 3, 4, 5. We just tried that. That did not work, but we can try some of the other ones. So we can try .php 3, 4. So let's give that a go. I'm just going to go ahead and move the shell.php to shell.php4. Browse for And that also did not execute PHP. PGML. And we finally received our callback by doing the shell.phtml. So again, we just went to this resource. We tried a couple of these methods already, and this just comes down to troubleshooting. All right, so now that we are in shell, we can see that we are www.data, which is the owner of the Apache process that we exploited, and we can check out what if we can see home. So we have RootMe and tests. So cd home. Most of the time they are located inside of the directories that we can access, but I'm not seeing it in RootMe or inside tests. So what we can go ahead and run is run a find for that file name. So we can do find slash, start at the slash root directory, and run a name user.text. And then we can send errors for files that we don't have permissions on. Instead of it just blowing up our screen, we can send to, which is standard error, to dev null. And we can see if this populates. We'll go ahead. Okay, so it's in var www. So it's in that directory where we first were in. Okay. And now we are moving on to privilege escalation since we are just a www data user, and now we need to conduct a privilege escalation and gain root access to this box. So they kind of say search for SUID files, what is weird, and go ahead and escalate. Command, and now we will just kind of go through. The resource we're going to be using is going to be GTFO bins. So we're just kind of going through here. So we have user bin cron tab as a suid, sudo and command. I don't know. So if we just run commands are executed according to the cron tab edited via the cron tab utility. So we will need to spawn a T2I shell. So that sticks out. We can look up some of the other ones just real quick by seeing wall is sudo, Python is a suid. So with Python being a suid, that sticks out right here. We can go ahead and run these commands. Binary has a suid bit set. It does not drop the elevated privileges and may be abused. example creates a local SUID copy. So we already have a local SUID. So we already have a local SUID copy, and then we can just run this command right here. So we're going to import OS and execute a shell. Python C, so we're calling Python, and we're going to import that. And now we are root, as we can see from the $sign. So we can go ahead and check that. We have the GUID as root. So now we can go ahead and go into root os and cat root.text. And there we got our flag. So we can go ahead and insert that in. User, then Python, and our flag format. Okay, and that sums up this room. Completed. So we just have completed that room. I will go ahead and exit out. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to drop in the comment section, and hopefully I can clarify that. And if you have any rooms that you would like to see done in the future, also please let me know. Thanks, and have a great day.